T13 News is all local all morning in Everett all week long.
Yeah, and Brandy Cruz is there this morning. As we mentioned moments ago, you spent some time with the Everett Police Department looking at some of the creative ways they're trying to address some of the city's biggest challenges. And Brandy, that includes gun violence.
Yeah, and this is a really sad one because we're not just talking about gun violence, we're talking about gun and gang violence specifically related to youth. So where youth are the suspects or kids are unfortunately the victims. And this is something the new mayor identified right when she took office as being a top priority. And she directed her city agencies to come up with creative approaches to try to combat the problem. And we know when it comes to youth gang activity and youth gun violence that one of the most important things you can do is to try to intervene in the lives of these young people before it's too late. For some of these kids,
that's my badge.
This will be their first memory of a police officer.
You rotate through. You're pretty good.
Their very first interaction with a member of law enforcement.
I don't want them to see me in just an enforcement role.
Yeah.
I want them to realize that the police are people.
Yeah.
We're humans just like everybody else. And so we want to build good relationship with the kids when they're young.
Officer Ryan Hogue with the Everett Police Department visits this Boys and Girls Club often. It sits along Casino Road, a street he's assigned to patrol.
There's been a number of crime-related issues along that road over the past couple of years.
But these patrols aren't normal. They're part of an effort to connect with the community. An Everett Police Chief Dan Templeman hopes will help confront the youth gun and gang violence that has hit parts of this city hard.
The purpose is to engage the community. It's to get out of his or her car, to go into the apartment complexes in certain areas where we've seen incidents of gang-related activity, and to walk, the grounds, to interact and engage with the community members, to talk to them, to find out how they're feeling, to find out what their concerns are.
Officer Hogue says the Casino Road outreach has been well received by business owners and community members.
Trying to encourage the people there that we're there to help them. We want them to call us if they need assistance.
In terms of making that connection to the community, it's been easy. I think that they were waiting for us to show up. So we're building those relationships right now throughout the community, and I think that those relationships are going to pay dividends down the road.
At the Boys and Girls Club, Officer Hogue is often recognized by the kids when he stops by.
Do you know him?
That's Mr. Rice.
It's why it's so important that he keeps coming back.
It's great having them come in pretty much a few times a week to hang out with us and play with the kids. So.
For you, how important do you think that is to have an interaction with an officer this young that is positive?
I think it's huge. I think it's absolutely a positive thing, seeing someone, getting to know them, being able to play with them, play games, being interactive, and not seeing them in a negative light, but just a fun, light, positive atmosphere, and just like a regular person to them.
If you go again, I'll go.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're gonna go play.
And if we can intervene with these kids at a young age and get them out of the trajectory of getting into gangs and gun violence, then that's going to pay huge down the road, and it's going to make that long-term difference in our community.
Ready? Yes, I think so. That was a nice one, thank you.
You're still.
Okay. Those kids were little gentlemen. They were just lobbing the ball at me, but they had no issues with just drilling the police officer with that ball. So I felt bad for him. You know, when we talk about these efforts that they're doing and you look at some of these things and the new efforts from the mayor, it's going to be some time, I think, before we can really understand if they're working. At the beginning of the year, the mayor put out all of these directives saying, here are some things I want city agencies to focus on. So while numbers in 2018 year to date compared to 2017 are looking good when it comes to shots fired, for instance, I think you really have to give some of these programs time to truly gauge what the impact of them are going to be on youth gun and gang violence in this city, guys.
Brandy, another issue that officers are dealing with obviously all over, homelessness and drug addiction as well.
Yeah, it was another issue that we came up to Everett this week hoping to get a good gauge of how the police department is dealing with that. And look, it's not an Everett issue. It's an issue across our state and across the entire country. And something that we say over and over on the show, you guys know this, whenever I'm on set with you, I stress when we're talking about a Seattle-related homeless or opioid issue, we stress that, look, if one city can figure this out, then other cities can duplicate that. So it's important that we come to other places like Everett. We've been up to Marysville to take a look at this, down in Tacoma to see what are the creative approaches that they're taking to try to deal with these issues, and if they're working, can we duplicate them in other places? So coming up at 9:30, I'm going to be taking you inside a program here with the Everett Police Department that aims to really deal with the opioid and homeless crisis with a mix of compassion and law and order. And I will tell you, that can be a really difficult balance to strike.
Absolutely. All right, Brandy, thank you. 8:36 right now.